Set to fly this time. Rob Van Mill, Chad Schroeder going to go off the front row. Van Mill quick to slide down middle groove. Chad Schroeder going to try to peek underneath. McIntoon in the 92 quickly finding ground. Nearly had a problem. There's the 442 finding the same lane. Kenny Dietz up in the top 5 early on in the 110. Looking on Peterson for the 3rd spot. Battle for 4th, not much of one, no, and now it is. Aaron Johnson, big time run to the bottom, then Dietz gonna wiggle. Problems for Kenny Dietz, the 110 off the pace. Caution gonna come out. Set to refire this time for Van Mill in the 40. Green back in the air. Rob Van Mill, Chad Schroeder, Aaron Johnson, Chris Peterson, Dan McIntoon. Now here comes Timmy Johnson to the bottom in 1 junior. Rob Van Mill trying to stretch it out. Chad Schroeder hanging right with, though, as Tim Johnson working up into the 3rd spot in 1 junior. Aaron Johnson, Dan McIntoon, the rest of your loaded top 5. Nearly contact, 3 of Dave Johnson, 92 of McIntoon. Dave able to check that down, but now Brody Carlsrud going to work on him for the 6th spot. Van Mill still holding, but Chad Schroeder just 4 car lengths behind. Now going to take it down. Green back in the air. Rob Van Mill in 40. Chad Schroeder going to take a look to the bottom. Aaron Johnson to the top. Chris Peterson off the pace in 44. Back to green we go for the 40 of Van Mill. McIntoon getting some momentum that time. Going to sneak underneath the 442 at Johnson. Now working on Chad Schroeder. Dan McIntoon, that 92 out of Hamburg here. Minnesota, number 3 nationally in the IMCA stock cars coming into tonight. Trying to pick up a few more points before heading down to Super Nationals in Boone, Iowa this week. Sliding up into that 3rd spot, Tim Johnson, Aaron Johnson going to round out your top 5. Mike Lane off the pace back here in 17, but he'll keep us green, thank God. Rob Van Mill, Chad Schroeder, Dan McIntoon, Aaron Johnson, Tim Johnson, all under a blanket breaking away, but your track champ, Tim Gonska, Granite City Speedway champ, Caden Woody, going to go side by side for 6th, and around goes the 17 lane. Mike going to back it down off the track and keep us green. Nice job, Mike. Caution come. Remaining stock car main event. We can only go up from here for Rob Van Mill in 40. Green in the air this time. Back into the 92. Going to get the momentum on the top shelf. Tries to sneak down through the middle. Chad Schroeder working with him in the 7K. Van Mill going to go middle groove. McIntoon going to try to slide underneath as they come off of 4. Nearly contact 7K of Schroeder, 1 junior at Johnson. Aaron Johnson, the 442, sliding back as Caden Woody going to move underneath in 980. Contact the 442, 980, and the 5G at Gonska as the 51 of Jacobson now going to try and work his way up in all this. Battle still working at the top. Rob Van Mill, Dan McIntoon breaking away from the pack. 2 of the tops in the country in the IMCA stock cars going to go side by side off of 4. Back to the bottom goes McIntoon, Schroeder, Johnson, Caden Woody, now your top 5. Chad Schroeder trying to hold off the 1 junior. Tim going to look topside as they come into 3 and 4. Now, big time contact, your leaders. McIntyre and Van Mill getting together. Caution is out. Back to green for Van Mill this time. Nearly 3 wide for that second spot. Tim Johnson going to go top shelf on Chad Schroeder. Johnson going to get the momentum that time. Now sets his sights on around Van Mill. Dan McIntyre not having much luck trying to work his way back up through the field. Stuck behind the 04 winner, 17 lane. Schroeder still holding on to that second spot. Tim Johnson, Aaron Johnson, Caden Woody, the rest of your top 5. Tim Gonska right behind. Aaron Johnson, the 442, going to try to set sail topside. 3 to go. That time by for Rob Van Mill in 40. Looked like maybe a right rear spring on the 980 of Woody coming loose. That left front going way up in the air as Aaron Johnson around. Big time shot to Tim Johnson. Straightens him down. Notice they come down the front straightaway. 442 is all the way around. The 1 junior just cleared him back forward. White flag going to come out for Rob Van Mill this time. And now contact Tim Gonska, Caden Woody. Woody going to stay on the gas. Keeps us green. Nice job, Caden. Thank you. Rob Van Mill, Chad Schroeder, Tim Johnson, Aaron Johnson, Tim Gonska. Now your top 5 is contact again. 17 lane 04 winter round yellow caution. Van Mill, Schroeder, Johnson. Absolute chaos here in your stock car feature finish. Alex Dostal into the fence. Mike Lane around. Aaron Johnson around.